Counter-Strike 2 has been in its fully released state for over a month now, can you believe it? Well, me neither, but since we're here, why don't we look over what has changed in the past month, see how it's affected the game as a whole, and let's explore what's still missing. I'm Cusack, you're watching the case opening channel, and this video will have very little to do with case openings. Since the full release of Counter-Strike in late September, Valve has shipped a dozen or so updates primarily focusing on bug and map fixes, quality of life improvements, while also removing some unintended features. I think we can separate the changes into four primary types: maps, sounds, gameplay, and skins. Starting with maps, I think we can all agree that those fixes Valve has shipped are all positively affecting the game, whether it's masking unnecessary clutter, fixing literal holes in walls, or removing some annoying clip rush anomalies that cause grenades to bounce erroneously and players getting stuck. Those are all great, and I'm glad that they're coming in such quick succession, even though we've had months to find all of them in the limited test. We could go over all of the changes in this video, but I won't because, well, 1, I'm too lazy, 2, there are people that put a lot of work into showcasing all of the changes already, and 3, map fixes equals maps more good, right? Then we've got sound changes, the most welcome of which has to be the addition of a new sound for the last 10 seconds of a bomb ticking. There's also been some grenade explosion sound tweaks, a lot of audio filter changes that are supposed to help with the clarity of footsteps, though I think in most cases you'll be hard pressed to hear a clear before and after difference. Again, sound changes are almost always welcome, and as far as I'm aware, we've not had any game-breaking sound bugs, which is great. Thirdly, we've got the gameplay related fixes. Now, you'd think that these are always good, but as we've come to learn, it can be a mixed bag. The thing I'm talking about, of course, is the fix to aliases, now leveraging subtick accuracy, also known as desubticking of movement keys. While I understand that this was never the intended purpose of aliases, it effectively removed a consistent way of executing some of the more intricate movements in the game, such as running jump binds. The pushback from the community was wild initially, it seems like it was a flash in the pan though, and all the discussions about it have slowly died out. I hope that people like Londers and other prominent members of the CS movement community continue fighting the good battle for consistent movement in CS2. Other than that, we've also had fixes for the Michael Jackson peaks, hitbox misalignments, crashes while climbing ladders, and many other unnamed bugs. Oh, my game froze, and it crashed. Perfect timing. I suppose it's also worth mentioning that there's been some minor changes to the Premier ranking system, but that's not really a bug fix, it's just worth mentioning. And lastly, we've got the skin changes, and I think that's the thing I'm the most confused about. On one hand, they are probably some of the easier changes to implement, but on the other, there's been so many of them, and they surely took up a significant amount of the developer's time. I understand that the skins are a primary source of Valve's income from CS2, but we're still missing so many game modes from CSGO like Arms Race, Demolition, or Danger Zone that I'm not convinced that spending so much time on the cosmetics should be the primary focus of the developer team. But hey, what do I know? Maybe there are completely different teams responsible for each and they're both working hard on their respective areas of expertise. And honestly, I hope that is the case, as I'm sure there are many casual players that have been essentially left in the dust with the for fun game modes absent in CS2. And speaking of things that haven't made it into the game, do you remember CSGO's weapons course? Yes, the somewhat outdated tutorial which introduced new players to the basic mechanics of the game, explaining things like shooting, movement, or the idea of spray patterns. Well, it hasn't made its way over to CS2 and has instead been replaced by a somewhat lazy training day tutorial, which honestly doesn't explain any of the basics for new players, past how to plant the bomb. I think it's absolutely bizarre, especially considering that a recent interview with the devs on PC Gamer showed that they want the game to grow, and last time I checked, to grow a player base you need new players, right? Another thing that hasn't changed and is bugging me immensely is the Premier 5-stacking situation. I played many different team-based games, but CS2's new primary matchmaking system, i.e. Premier, has been the only one to allow solo queuing players to get matched against 5-stacks. This makes massively imbalanced games, and I'm sure it's driven many players away from the game already. It has to be fixed, and I just have to say it that it's one of the most important bits of a matchmaking system. Can't believe that they didn't get this right. At this point I was going to mention the fact that the community servers have been almost completely ignored since launch, but Valve literally just pushed an update to address that, so that's good. Hopefully we'll see more updates that reintroduce CSGO features into CS2. And that's roughly how things are shaping up so far. I probably missed quite a lot, so I welcome you to let me know in the comments what I've missed, but that is everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.